time to wake up. It's time to wake up. It's time to wake up. It's time to wake up.
So cheers, we will talk now about water. So this is amazing. And we already got an amazing introduction that for us here in Germany and a lot of like European countries or other countries, it's really easy to just open the tap, get healthy water out of it and to kind of, be refreshed. But we have a lot of other countries where water is a luxury good. But as well here in Germany, water is getting more and more as well a problem. We have less water in the ground. We have changes from raining, really strong rainings. We saw just the airport in Frankfurt swept. So the resource water is on one side a need for us, for all the topics, but on the other side as well a changing good. And I want to use the next 20 minutes with you to really talk about water management and what we actually can do today to support our future and stay hydrated. Let's say it this way. And for this, I have an amazing group of panelists, and I would like to ask you three just to come on stage, and I will introduce you then afterwards, and we start with the opening question. So please join me here. And then maybe I go here. And maybe asking in the room, anyone who don't speak German? Then we will do this in English. Beautiful. So, amazing to have you three there. I would like to introduce you, and then maybe starting already with the opening question, what is actually the current status with water management, and why is this topic for us so important? So maybe starting with you, Rolf. You're like a musician. You are highly active to bring the awareness about water to people on the stage and as well in a lot of activities. So maybe you can introduce you quickly yourself and then share your thought about water management and what we should do.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Rolf. I'm a musician, and I was raised in Saudi Arabia, Nigeria, and Algeria as a little kid. And when I came home to Bavaria, I opened the water tap, and out came beautiful, cold, fresh drinking water. And that was one of the best moments of my life, and I couldn't believe that you could drink it. And I thought to myself, when I grow up, I want to make sure that more people have access to that. I believe in the power of music, which means I play 10 concerts, and one concert I use for a reason, for a cause. And so we started Water is Right 12 years ago. Water is Right is a foundation that at the beginning was the typical water foundation. Let's build a well, let's give access to water. But soon we learned that we need to also give access to technology, access to innovations. And so we took 10 years' time to learn. And we were able to achieve water projects for 5 million people just by playing a few concerts. And the foundation is called Wir, Water is Right. And I do believe in the power of Wir, which I say that if I can change the world a little bit, a Wir, us of the like-minded people, if we get together, maybe we can change it on a higher scale and on a higher level. And we do know there are water issues in the world, but more I see in having water problems, we have technological problems, we have innovation problems. And being a musician, I understand that talking about water can be bone dry. And as a musician, maybe we can work on it to emotionalize the topic and bring right people together. So I'm really pleased of being here, and thank you.
It's really good to hear, to have you here, and as well, I'm really pressured actually to meet you. Will you sing for us later? Maybe we can ask him really nice at the end.
If we talk about Wir, maybe we should all sing together, you know.
I would say this is a deal for the end. So stay here. Don't leave, please. Thank you so much. Benedikt, you are Business Unit Project business unit project manager. Can I say it this way?
Let's just do it.
Yeah, maybe do it without LIXIL, EMEA, Grow at G. Actually, you make it possible that we can get water in the bathrooms and in our houses. So what are you doing, and what do you actually see currently the status for global water management, and what are the possibilities for us ahead?
Thank you very much. So, as mentioned, my name is Ben. I work for the company Grohe. I guess most of you know Grohe. If not, look at your tap at home. Most probably it's mentioned on top there or in the shower. And yeah, I see the world currently is under a lot of water stress. In fact, 25% of the world's population lives in areas with water stress. And we don't really have to travel far for that, right? We don't have to go to the Middle East or Africa. We can find this in Spain, in France alone. Last year, there were water restrictions imposed by the government because there was not enough water anymore there. And that's concerning, of course. Even more concerning is 800 million people don't even have access to clear drinking water. This is actually insane if you think about. And looking at this room in our homes, I think we're all kind of spoiled, right? We open the tap and we kind of feel it flows out limitless because it always comes out when you open it. And I also think that water, if you look at the price of water, it doesn't really reflect the value the resource has. And that's actually concerning. So I'm not saying we should increase the price, but we should be much more conscious how we deal with this resource. And you mentioned technical solutions, and I think if we will come to this later on, there is a lot of technical solutions in place, and not since today or tomorrow, since 10, 20 years actually. But we need to be educated about it and basically impose them.
I really like the point you mentioned with like education and building awareness actually, that what we have as a luxury is something we should be aware of and work on that it stays. Clemens, we're really happy to have you here. You're CEO from Reith. We actually had Lothar to join us for this panel, but he got sick. And this morning we asked Clemens, would you like to join? And he said, of course, because this topic is a hard topic for you, and you're working especially with developed countries to make the water clean with like collecting waste. So it would be amazing if you can introduce yourself and give a perspective on the global water management and what potential you see there.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me today. It's a pleasure, also on short notice. We as Everwave are focusing on plastic pollution of rivers and then by that stopping it entering the oceans. We are working in several countries, especially in developing countries, low-income countries, and the situation is simply insane. We produce more waste, we produce more plastic, we use more plastic than ever, and it ends up more plastic than ever in the oceans. And that's exactly where we want to, first of all, talk about the situation, and secondly, do something against it. And we are using technologies to clean up rivers worldwide. We're working in Cambodia, for example, on the Mekong River or the Tonle Sap, collecting waste and also building local infrastructure for the sorting and the recycling. And so far, we collected more than 1.5 million kilograms of waste since we started the operations. And I think it's super important for us as a startup, first of all, to talk about the problem, the challenge of plastic pollution. And secondly, and that's also part why I'm here today, is to showcase that especially working together with bigger companies for us as a startup is a huge opportunity. Working together with growers since day one, actually. And yeah, that helps us a lot to scale the operation, to finance the operation, and to do something against it.
Amazing. So what you really say as well, like not only NGOs like can really do active parts in sustainability, there's a business model behind. So I'm really curious to learn about this more. Benedikt, private sector, what opportunities do you see currently there for water management? What technologies are out there to, let's say, my water pleasure, like what I have in my house to save more water? And what are you doing there at Grohe right now?
There is a lot. I mean, first of all, if it comes to new buildings, for example, we see from the private sector a lot of requests concerning flow rates, right? So meaning how much liters per minute comes out of a faucet or out of a shower. That's basically how we measure it, yeah? And we see a lot of requests for low flow rates. There is also a lot of building certifications nowadays in place, which basically evaluate how green your building is. And all the components, not only ours, they contribute towards this building, right? So we have a high demand, and it's really important that this is happening and it keeps going forward. And of course, there's many solutions out there. And as I mentioned in the beginning, we as Grohe, back in the days it was called Umweltschutz. This was 20 years ago, but that's sustainability, right? And we're working with this topic since 20 years. And the technologies are also there. And I want to mention maybe a few small ones. And I think it's not always about, we have also future technologies I will mention later on, but there is also technologies everybody can implement tomorrow. And it starts for me with a hand shower. A hand shower costs below 30 euros. And you can have it as a water saving, as an eco-friendly hand shower. And if you don't know how much your hand shower consumes, open it at home, put a bucket underneath, measure the time, and see how much comes out within 1 minute. And if it's very high, well, you can look online, everything is available, and can purchase it to change something at your house today. Another very nice technology, in my opinion, is called Silk Move ES. You all have a faucet at home, right? And most of you have most probably a single lever in the middle. So the lever, when you open and close, it's always in the middle because it looks great, design-wise, best location. But what's happening is when you open this lever, there's cold water coming up and hot water coming up. So from your basement, sometimes it takes 10, 15 seconds until the water reaches your hands. By the time you closed it already again, because you just wanted to make a quick wash. But what's happening is you waste water, yes and no, but you waste energy. Because the hot water comes up, remains in the pipe in the wall, you just leave it there, and that's it. And that's actually crazy. So the Silk Move technology doesn't really change anything. It only changes that you turn the cartridge around. So the inner part which manages the flow of the water. So when you open the lever in the middle position, you only open cold water. And then when you want to make a conscious decision to have hot water, you have to turn it. And I think these are really, really small things which everybody can install and which is also asked by new builds nowadays, that we implement these technologies to have it installed. And our stakeholders are designers, architects, developers, construction companies, and the request also comes from there. And of course, there is a huge educational part from our side towards our stakeholders as well.
They're really good points. Maybe one more question in your direction, especially a lot of times in summer times we hear like, okay, you cannot really use water right now for watering your gardens, to refill your pool. Currently, Barcelona has a rule not to refill pools, to recycle them. Are there overall regulations like to do the construction in the house to waste less water? Or are there no government regulations in this direction?
There is government regulations or building certification regulations. So if you want to achieve a certain rating of your building, you need to impose those flow rates, for example. And this is something you need to achieve, otherwise you simply won't get it. Of course, there is also a lot of product regulations which look at a product which, it's nice to have a product which uses less water, but the question is also how is the entire life cycle of the product from production till end of use. And there's also regulations or product declarations which look at that. How is the product from beginning till the end, which is also a very important fact.
So it's not only the private, but as well the public sector who supports in this direction. Overall, most people don't really think about it, about water, where it comes from, how much do I have, because especially here in Germany, it's really easy to get. How do you see the whole part of education and awareness? And as well, you're already really active the last years. What did you change in your own habits?
Well, what I see is that the way we consume water is changing drastically in the past years. More and more hotels or restaurants, for instance, are using tap water, turning it into table water, and they have the benefits of not using refrigerators, not using a truck, not using plastic bottles. But what I say is, if I see that the startups, companies out there, is why don't we, from the beginning of a new idea, put at the top of it what's going to happen when it's successful? Are we going to use a part of the success to change to the better? So what we're doing right now is the concept called drink water, give water. We have a hotel in Switzerland that sells water for 12 francs per liter. It's a luxury hotel, and a lot of people are willing to pay that. Now we say, okay, if you want to do that, be my guest, but why don't you take a share out of it? So what they do, €1 per liter goes into the Water Foundation, pays 30,000 euros every year, just one hotel. With the 30,000 euros, we can finance a water truck. The water truck makes 1 million liter of water, and we can put it to places where there is no water. So I call that lifestyle for a reason. And this should be a new norm, the drink water, give water norm. So if you make, I'm so excited to see young, innovative people really willing to change something. But I think that you should put in the willing of change, you should also put a willing of fair or real share. Because what are you going to do when you're successful? Are you just going to use the money for yourself? Or do you want to be paid in other values? Not only in the money currency, do you want to be paid in a currency of feeling well about it, of knowing that you changed something? And that is a very easy thing. I mean, a big company, Pepsi, just bought SodaStream. They don't do that for altruism. They know that water is $1 billion business. And so I would like to invite them to go the drink water, give water way. Hey, we're going to make billions of money with tap water turning into table water. So why don't we make sure that every liter that comes out there is 10 liter where there is no water? What we do, we designed a solution for touring. I'm a touring musician. I was sick and tired in 2017. After the gig, I went into the venue and I saw thousands of plastic bottles. Now I'm the guy saying, like, don't use so much plastic. And then I'm part of the problem. So what can you do? Change something, make sure, use refill. And so we came from the refill bottles. We thought, like, okay, where can you fill your water bottles up? So we created a water bar that we can take on tour, on festivals, on concerts, on Stadtfeste. And we rent it out. And every liter that comes out there, we try to make sure that it's 10 liter where there is no water. It has the benefit of saving plastic bottles. It has the benefit of saving CO2. It has the benefit of not using refrigerators or trucks. But when there's money being made with, why don't we calculate a part of and turn it into water where there is no water? So the 10 euros per liter that we are willing to pay at festivals, at fancy restaurants. If you buy this bottle of water in the supermarket, it'll cost 30 cents. If you buy it in a kiosk at 2 o'clock in the evening, you'll pay $2. If you buy it in a bar, it'll cost $5. In a restaurant, in a fancy restaurant, it'll cost $8. When do we put a real share into that water? And that's what I'd love to invite in people to go this way, into companies to go this way. And we need companies to be influencers for that part. We are talking about sustainability, but please not only as a marketing solution, but as a solution for the better.
And I like the approach you say, like to bring water. Yeah, please, go for it. I like the approach that you say, like here you get water by yourself and you bring water where things are good. Maybe to just mention Lothar, who is not here, he works for Epoona. And what they're doing actually is creating water where no water is out of the air with their technology. So they actually won last year the award here at the GREENTECH Festival. So if you have the chance to check it out, I think it's highly interesting. But going there, where you're actually cleaning up the water, where people really need it with the waste and make it available. How did you start the journey? Like how did it happen? And then as well, like how do you work with corporations to make a win-win situation out of it?
I mean, obviously, first of all, it started with an idea, and it's actually quite obvious that we have a problem with mismanaged waste all around. We're maybe all traveling in summer holidays somewhere, maybe to the beach, and I would say every beach on the planet has plastic on it. It's microplastic or macroplastic, but still there is plastic. And so it was kind of obvious to start Everwave. And actually, we are a for-profit organization because we wanted to prove that actually these organizations should earn the most money in the system and not the less money. And we call it then not sharing, but it's just a definition. We call it responsibility. Okay. There, the corporate social responsibility, which is mentioned all over here as well. companies should take their responsibility because obviously they earned a lot of money with selling products, selling plastic packaging and so on. And now we as EverWave want to get them on the table to pay their part and pay the bill because the situation is not good at the moment. And to be a bit more concrete, what we established is the business model which is called plastic credits. So we offer for €1, you can support us and we collect and process 1 kilogram of waste worldwide through our projects, which is super scalable. It's easy to talk to your customer, to let the people know what you're doing in terms of sustainability. And it's super obvious that there is a change. If you plant a tree, you never see the tree. You never know what's going to happen. If you collect a kilogram of waste, the result is there next day.
Great. Because you as well mentioned the circularity, like where actually things come from. What are you doing with the plastic afterwards and the other trash?
That's a challenge because the packaging we find is often mixed material, which is meaning that there are several, in one plastic packaging, there are several materials involved. So you have to burn it. There's no other option. Put it on a landfill, which we don't do, or burn it. We have a recycling quote around 25% globally in our projects, and then we sell it locally. But to be honest about that, the market of recycling is dead at the moment because the production of new plastic is so cheap that it's simply not worth to invest in that part. So what drives us is obviously the impact. We don't want to burn something which has a value at the end.
Can I just add something?
You can always speak.
Okay. So I have an idea. Maybe we try not to produce so much plastic, right? And I hope all of you had the opportunity the last 2 days to visit our water stands from Grohe. I think we're in hall 21 and 18. 20 and 21. So if you haven't been there, please go there and try a glass of fresh water. And this product is called Grohe Water Systems. It's basically similar to what you mentioned. It's a kitchen faucet you can install at home, and you get drinking water out of the faucet. It's filtered water. It's chilled. It's you can have it sparkling, non-sparkling, medium, whatever you like. And it's not a water-saving product directly, but to produce 1 bottle of PET plastic requires already 8 liters of water. So a family up to 4 can save up to 800 bottles a year, right? And in this way, well, we all do something great for the environment. And the best part is you never have to carry a water bottle at your house. Yeah?
Ben, can I just jump right in?
Yes.
Because I saw that at 2017. I was at a friend's house, concert promoter's house. I opened the tap and out came sparkling water. And it freaked me out. I loved it. And I thought that was the moment when I thought like, hey, that's a good thing. Now this is going to be so much easier for people. I hate carrying water cases around and all this. And now you have this solution. And that's why, so Grohe was one led to the way of thinking now if you can afford it and if you're willing to pay a value for it, and if you're making a profitable thing out of it, use some of this profit to make sure that where there is no water or where water is unaffordable, you make sure it is affordable. The only thing I'm asking is, let's make water affordable. That means if I'm willing to pay 20 cents here for a liter, I can pay maybe 22, and the 2 cents will bring 10 liters of water somewhere else. So I'm a fan guy of the Grohe solution, and that's what leads into the touring thing and all this. So
I'm happy to hear that, and I think this is also our job to be an enabler for new technologies. And I don't want to sell any products here now, but I want to mention one more thing. Last year at the GREENTECH Festival, I hope you all saw that, we showcased the Grohe EverStream. It was a shower. Let me start in a different way. Saving water is great, but nowadays we already think about how can we recycle water, right? So how can we use the water, clean it, and use it again? And then the Grohe EverStream is basically a shower which goes in this direction. It allows you to take an endless shower. Yeah? So when you step into the shower, the warm water comes out, goes down your body, it goes into a separate flush, gets pumped up again. There is a filter inside, of course. It gets pumped up, cleaned by UV light. And then comes the most important part. There is a small heating device which heats up the water only 1 to 4%. because at degrees, sorry, 1 to 4 degrees, because the water is already warm. Yeah, if you take a normal shower, you heat up the water and flush it down the drain, which is crazy. Yeah, and this is for me a future product, and this is something, of course, we're investing in. We launch it this year with certain partners, and yeah, I believe really this is something which again enables to deliver new products in the future.
So 100 showers are going to make a sanitation in Africa or Asia where there is not?
It's, in fact,
I'd love that.
let me put a number together. You can save 27,000 liters of water a year, which is equal to drinking water for one person for 50 years. Yeah, you save basically 75% water. You save 70% of costs taking a shower, and you save, of course, also 66% of energy. Yeah, and this is for me future thinking. Sorry.
I think overall, like we mentioned a lot of different things. We need to do actions here and somewhere else. We need technology to enable us to make sure to use less water. But overall, we need the awareness that we have to do this. We only have 30 more seconds, so I would like to close the session with the closing question. And maybe, Clemens, you can start. What do you think are right now the most important actions for governance, businesses, and us as a person to support the resource water for the future and that we don't forget it? If you want to think about it a second, because you just met us today.
I just have 10 seconds, right? Maybe
I think we get 1 more minute longer.
Okay,
right?
so individuals, I think, just think about what you do. Yeah, think about at your home, how are you conscious with water or not? If not, change it. Yeah, there is, for everybody is a solution from a price level here till here. For companies, invest in technology, look into the future. If you have a water-intense manufacturing process, think about it.
Work together with startups.
Work together with startups, very important.
Always good, collaboration.
And for governments, I believe, education is a very important part, but also imposing, maybe product restrictions or flow rate restriction, that it's a mandatory thing to use it because, it functions, it works, and it's available.
Giving the frame. Rolf?
We need to break old habits and focus more on new solutions. I've just met this startup company called Blue Activity, and they tell me that there is the water that they reproduce saves 40% of the costs, and they work with big companies. Now I say, like, hey, tell them that they save 35%, and with the 5% that they save, we can put water where there is no water. So we need to be much more focusing on the new young kids that have incredible solutions, and we have to be much more positive, and we need to force politicians and decision makers to get their butts up and move the world.
Now and not later when it's already too late. You're one of the young kids on the ground.
Be aware of where you put your money in, which product you buy, which decision you do, because the product of the future is only there if we demand for it.
Great. So please give this panel a warm applause. Thank you so much for your time and sharing the insights. Do you have a song for?
I've got a water song, and I wrote it for Cape Town, for the World Water Day, and it's called Well, you know there would be nothing without water, and no kids would wet in the summer rain. Well, you know there would be nothing without water. I have to sing it faster. No tears to cry and to wash away our pain. And now it's your part. Water, yeah, is life. And water is love. And so on. Thank you.
It's time to wake up.